everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamika. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Hi, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. Today I am doing a fun video for you all. I recently did the 12 days of HEAs, which if you didn't see that, I did the 12 days of HEAs, and I asked a couple booktubers to give me some clips for like recommendation videos and other topics. One of the recommendation videos was age gaps, and I had already planned on doing an age gap video and you all really liked it. So I'm gonna be giving you my age gap recommendations straight from me, and I'm gonna go ahead and share them with you. I have been working on this list for a little while, and I'm gonna go ahead and preface this. I could throw in just about any Brianna Hale book and it will count as an age gap, and a lot of the books that I read are age gaps. So I can throw in a couple extras. I can throw in a couple that are gonna be, you've seen me talk about these before, and I probably will just quickly mention them and get them out of the way. But I'm gonna try to give you some other ones that you haven't read from before or I haven't talked about. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanna give you some age gap recommendations. This is one of my favorite tropes. This is a trope that I am gravitating to almost all the time. And this is also just a trope that I really love and I think is a great starter for taboo and dark romances. I love age gaps. I don't feel like they're that taboo, but I'm also someone who is very normalized to an age gap. Age gaps are very subjective, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and hop on into it. Age gaps are age gaps. It's a gap in the age year. So here we go. Here's some age gap recommendations that I have loved. Let me go ahead and get the obvious one out of the way. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is an age gap between a girl and her boyfriend's dad. Jordan and Pike are 19 years apart. I think he is literally double her age. They are put in a situation where her boyfriend gets them evicted and they have to live with his dad. The boyfriend is not great to Jordan. There is no cheating in this book. I don't want to say too much. This is Jordan and Pike's story. It is a slow burn age gap. Their age gap felt honestly like it wasn't even there. It's a very good for beginners. It's really good to ease you into an age gap. I love this book. I recommend you check it out. It is really long though, so just be warned, you're going to be waiting a while before you actually get some of the steamy scenes, and everyone recommends this, so I just want to make sure you know to go check it out. Would it be a video for me if I didn't recommend a Brianna Hale? I'm obviously gonna go with The Protege by Brianna Hale. This one is one of my favorite Brianna Hale books. This is a age gap romance, and actually it's also a Guardian Ward romance. Isabeau and Laszlo have a pretty good sized age gap. I can't remember exactly what the age gap is. I think he's about 24 or 25 when he takes her in when she's like 8. So a pretty decent age gap there. And nothing happens between them until she turns, she turns 18 and she comes on to him and he says no and he doesn't want anything to do with her sexually. He is attracted to her and he does have the sexual attraction and the emotional attraction to her, but he wants to not pursue that because he feels like that would be strange because he has taken care of her since he was 8, or she was 8, and they have a falling out, and it's them coming back together 3 years later and them having a not only a romantic and sexual relationship again, but also them coming back together because she was his protege. He is like this orchestra like instructor, and she is a very talented cellist, I think that's what it is, and it's their relationship coming back together. I love this book. It's one of my favorite Brianna Hales, and I always try to recommend this whenever I can. I really like this one. This one does talk a little bit more in the BDSM aspects. This does touch on like subspace and being a dominant and being a submissive, specifically being a daddy dom and a little girl. Not necessarily daddy dom little girl is like the main aspect, but he does give her spankings, and it's the typical daddy kink from Brianna, where it's not completely on the one side of the spectrum of daddy kink, but it's also not just call me daddy. It's a little bit more. It's, you know, a little more with an actual DS relationship and DS dynamic, but it's really good and I really like it. So the next type that I want to talk about is a little bit different. It is a older woman, younger man situation. This one is a 40-year-old woman with a 25 or 24-year-old man. So this is The Forbidden Man by Karina Halley. I always almost mess up her name. But this is about Talia, who is a she's like she works with like really big sports teams, and she's like a physical therapist for them, and she gets a job over in Spain, and she is on this Spain Madrid team. I'm forgetting what words are, and she's taking care of the team and like acting as like the physical person, the thing, whatever her title is. And she starts a relationship with Alejo, who is not only forbidden because he's so much younger, but forbidden because they are working together, and that is absolutely forbidden in this situation. So not only do they have insane chemistry, like sexual chemistry, but they also have a very beautiful emotional relationship, and they really struggle with that because she's so much older. She is worried that their relationship is not gonna last long term, and you get to see like a really beautiful story. Honestly, you can't even feel the age gap, in my opinion. I feel like the age gap is such a it's such a huge part of the story, but I don't really feel the age gap because I felt like they were just like on the same wavelength the entire story. Like I just felt like they were like so connected emotionally that I didn't even notice like the things that would get in the way of someone who is in an age gap romance. So like there wasn't like things that I thought were like that stuck out to me that would cause issues with them with their age difference. I thought it was beautiful and I loved it, and it was so flawless. I think this would be a great one for people who have not read a ton of age gaps and they really want to try them out. Next up, I obviously want to talk about the Devil's Playground duet, which is The Devil and the Devil's Advocate by Ashley Jade. This story is so good. This one follows a group of people, actually 3 different characters. We have Cain, Eden, and Damien. I talked about this one a little bit in some other videos, but I absolutely love this book, this duet in general. This is such an interesting story to try to talk about too, because Cain and Damien have a past together, and Eden is Cain's stepdaughter. He marries her mom passes away, he's taking care of her. There are rumors that they are romantically involved with one another. They are just, there are so many rumors going around the story, and I loved it so much. And you are finding out that all these things are happening. You find out why Damien and Cain hate each other and why Eden is the pawn in this game, and there is an HEA at the end of the duet. There's not an HEA at the end of the first book, but at the end of the duet there is an HEA. You don't know how it's gonna happen. It's absolutely wild. It's an insane ride, and this is a dark romance. There are a ton of triggers for this story. I just want to say it is absolutely bonkers, and it is worth picking up. I read the entire duet in 2 days, in like 2 sittings. So good, and I want everyone to check this story out. I can't talk about it any more in depth than what I just did without spoiling the entire duet. All right, and then the last one I want to talk about is Reasonable Doubt by Whitney G. Now listen, the reason I'm bringing this one up, I love this one. This one is so good. This made it into my favorite books of 2020, and this book is a age gap romance, obviously. And this follows 2 characters, Katrina and Andrew. Katrina joins this like website for lawyers. So she has assumed the identity of a 27-year-old lawyer, and she is using this website that lawyers use that you can only have if you're a lawyer. So her mom's a lawyer, she uses her login. She's using this website in order to kind of get help on her homework, and she stumbles upon this guy, and they start a actual conversation, and like they have a friendship develop out of this. And this guy is a one day, one night together, that's it, and then I move on kind of guy. And he is just so wrapped up in this person that she is saying that she is, in this relationship that they have made. And then he finds out because she goes to an interview at the company to become an intern there, and he figures out that it's her. And she has no idea that he knows that she is who she is, like in her persona. He has no idea that they're the same people. Like she has no idea he knows they're the same people, and she has no idea that he is the guy that she's been talking to. So it is absolutely insane, and I love it. It was so good. This is a 3-part serial that you can listen to all on audio and just like one go. It is absolutely amazing. I really recommend checking it out. There is an HEA at the end, obviously, because it's a romance, and I love it. It is so good. It is such a good story. The age gap is so good, and the story to get there, it's adorable. I loved the different twists and turns that were in this. I thought it was definitely a great listen, and it was easy to follow along with. The age gap is not so crazy that it's like in your face, but it is like it's there and you know it, and it's just, it's so good. It is absolutely so good, and I really recommend it. So those are all of my age gap recommendations. I hope that you all liked this list and you check some of these out. I know some of these are more popular and some of these are ones that people normally recommend, but I wanted to go ahead and put them out there in case some people haven't read them, and I wanted to definitely give you that intro, some easy ones to slide into if you're not really sure about age gaps. So Make sure if you want to check these out, you're checking them out. I do have links for them all in the description, and I will chat with you all in my next video. Bye everyone.